Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and whatever else is watching. My name is Nick and I have to say, last chapter of Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair threw me for a loop. Damn, that was some kind of chapter, and I'm worried what would happen if more people would start to remember who they were at school. Are they also going to go off on the deep end, or is this something else? Well, I'm curious for chapter 4 now, so let's begin.
You said you checked all the clocks inside the building. Isn't that right, Fuyuhiko?
Yes?
Yeah, none of the clocks had the wrong time.
But what if all those clocks have been messed with?
So all the clocks have the wrong time.
All the clocks?
So even if you checked all the clocks inside the building, there's no way you'd have noticed it.
I see. So the killer messed with the time inside the whole building by changing all the clocks.
So that's what it was. There's no way I would have noticed that.
This is truly fantastic!
Now's not the time to be pleased. More importantly, how much was the time off?
Wait, why? I just noticed this. But why was Nagito suddenly so ecstatic? Huh? I thought he was completely condescending, and especially towards everyone here. So, why is he so ecstatic that we noticed that the time was off? There have been much more difficult puzzles here, okay? She's right. That's the main problem. I need to clarify by how much the time was off after the killer messed with the clocks. That's definitely the next mystery. I'm going to reach the truth in one go. One go? Akane's account was the third, I think. Fuyuhiko's account was that the clocks were off, or was it that he saw him going down at 5? Contact elevator, Nagito. So either Akane or Fuyuhiko's account. I'm gonna do.
If the time in the building was all messed up, then we can only rely on Nekomaru's radio clock.
The time of death was clearly 7:30 a.m.
The problem is, what time would 7:30 be in our time?
Are there any clues that can be used to narrow that down? If only I heard the sound when he fell. It would have been a great clue.
Or his scream.
He's not the type to let out a scream.
If only Nekomaru's alarm was loud enough, we would have heard it too.
There's no point in saying that. If does not exist in this world.
By how much did the killer adjust the time inside the building? How would I figure that out?
If the time in the building was all messed up,
Akane's account.
then we can only rely on Nekomaru's radio clock.
The time of death was clearly 7:30 a.m.
The problem is, what time would 7:30 be in our time?
Are there any clues that can be used to narrow that down? If only I heard the sound when he fell.
I agree with that.
That's it.
That's right. We should have heard the sound he made when he fell. Wasn't it that rumbling noise?
Rumbling?
I thought it was just an earthquake, so I went back to sleep. Was that the sound from when Nekomaru fell?
Pretty much.
The huge body fell from the 4th floor to the 1st, and the pillar fell with it. It's obvious we'd hear
That
the
makes you
impact
lost that.
We heard that noise too.
It was when we were gathered at the Strawberry House Lounge. What is it, Sonia?
Oh, well, that sound everyone heard? I did not hear it at all.
Huh?
You probably didn't hear it because you were sleeping.
I could not sleep at all.
Deluxe room.
I was awake the whole night with hunger pangs.
There's nothing to worry about. What's important is that rumbling noise anyway.
If we use that rumbling sound as a reference, we might be able to figure out how much our time was off.
I heard that sound probably around 5:30 in the morning.
Huh? You can tell?
I instantly woke up and left my room. And that's when I saw the clock in the lounge.
Excellent work, Akane!
Yeah, good work. If that rumbling sound we heard was 5:30 AM, it's like the answer to how much our time was off is literally right in front of me. Well, 2 hours. 7:30 minus 5:30 is 2 hours. Well, if my math is correct, and I'm usually a little bit good at math, I'm not that bad.
I see!
I didn't finish primary
Nekomaru's
school
alarm
for
went off
nothing.
at 7:30, and if we heard the sound of his impact at 5:30, that means our time was off by 2 hours.
2 hours? That much?
We were starving pretty badly. There's no way we would have noticed.
Plus, the funhouse has no windows. And there weren't any Monokuma announcements either.
However, for what reason did the killer alter our perception of time?
The reason is obvious. So they can lure out just Nekomaru.
Lure out.
If
Only
you messed with the
Nekomaru?
clocks and used a specific thing, you definitely get Nekomaru to the tower alone, right? From there, the killer's plan was a splendid success. That's all it means.
Besides messing with the time, the killer also used a specific thing. If they were trying to lure out only Nekomaru, then that specific thing is the clock's alarm, the rumbling noise, massage time. Oh, something that Akane would really like. But no, it's the 7 o'clock Monokuma Tai Chi. Because he would be on time for that.
I see!
That's it. The killer made use of the Monokuma Tai Chi activity in the morning.
How did they use it?
We were required to go to Great Tower every morning at 7 AM for that activity, right? But if they mess with all the clocks inside the building, what would that do to us?
We'll be 2
We
hours
wouldn't be
late.
able to attend on time, but that wouldn't affect Nekomaru. His radio clock had the exact time.
That's right. In doing so, the killer was able to lure him to the tower by himself at the precise time.
Then, when I witnessed Nekomaru early in the morning,
If I recall, you witnessed Nekomaru around 5 AM. And if that time was also 2 hours off, it should have been 7 AM. Yeah, that's pretty much it. At that time, he was heading over to Monokuma Tai Chi, right on schedule.
I see. Now that I think about it, I realize what Monokuma meant when he said those words.
Too early! He didn't even ask you yet!
Jeez, how outrageous! I honestly didn't expect everyone to ditch Monokuma Tai Chi. But it turned out like this after all. So I guess it can't be helped.
When you said everyone, you were including us, right? We thought we came to the tower on time, but in truth, it was way past the meeting time.
Aw, jeez! That's, well, how should I put it? What was it? You
know, tripping over a foot or something like that.
Are
Tripping
you
over your
talking
words.
about tripping over someone else's fault?
Wrong! Too bad!
Liar! I'm right!
That's not it! It's incorrect!
That's definitely the correct answer. You always get so stubborn like this.
Let's just ignore the peanut gallery. Now that we've found out how the killer lured Nekomaru, the number of suspects has drastically decreased.
Hey,
Huh?
why would that decrease the number of suspects? Don't be a friggin' liar!
Yeah, that's what I wanted myself as well. How did that decrease it?
You'll know I'm not lying when you listen to what Fuyuhiko's going to say next.
Huh? What the hell do you mean?
You witnessed Nekomaru going toward the tower. Did something else happen after that?
Oh, that bit.
Are you talking about that
That bit.
alarm?
Alarm?
A little while after I witnessed Nekomaru, the clock in the Strawberry House lounge started going off. Plus, it was just before that rumbling sound occurred. That's it. So that's what it is. If Nekomaru died when the rumble happened, then whoever doesn't have an alibi at the time is the prime suspect.
Really? Was there anyone who didn't have an alibi at that time?
I remember now. The sound was so loud I couldn't help bolting from my room. But there was one guy who never left the lounge. We were both on the same floor. It's pretty weird that bastard never came out of his guest room.
Really?
Which means that person does not have an alibi for when Nekomaru fell?
Who is it? Who's the bastard?
Nagito? It's whoever doesn't have an alibi for that time. Because Gundham, Kazuichi and Fuyuhiko were there. So the one is Nagito.
You're the only one!
But
The one who wasn't there. It's you, right, Nagito?
That's right. Nagito wasn't there. It was just me, Gundham, and Fuyuhiko.
You didn't come out, even though the alarm was going off like crazy.
with
You
a valid
weren't in your
reason, I
room,
think.
were you?
If that's the case, where were you?
Please, say something!
If you don't hurry up and answer, I'm gonna suicide dive you!
If I may be frank,
Don't do.
even if I wanted to go to the lounge, I couldn't.
You couldn't? What do you mean?
It's merely the foolish talk of the weak.
Not only did I not hear the alarm, I never even heard that rumbling sound.
He couldn't?
You're definitely fucking lying.
However, that is also true for me. It is obvious that I did not hear the alarm in Strawberry House.
Yeah, we
But I
neither.
did not hear the
Hajime.
rumbling sound either. Is that not strange? I mean, everyone else heard it. To be honest,
Well,
it's not just them. The same goes for me too. I was in
Huh?
a pretty deep sleep, so I thought that's why I couldn't hear it, but... It wasn't that. I probably couldn't hear it at all.
Couldn't hear it? What does that mean?
You still don't know. Think about what the three of us who didn't hear a sound have in common, and I'm sure you'll figure it out.
The room. The only people who didn't hear the rumbling noise were Nagito, Sonia and Chiaki. The secret is what these three have in common. Could this also be the secret that points to the killer? Pretty much. Almost. Ah, great. Hangman's Gambit again. But I do know what And I don't get it. I don't get it. Deluxe. You can never succeed this without getting hit. I'm so convinced about that one. Oh no, I don't need that. I need you. I needed both of them. And now I need the M. Okay, this one I did better than previously. But not getting hit here is pretty much impossible. That's why this is such an awful game.
You were staying in deluxe rooms, right?
Try doing this when you have no clue what the word should be. And you first have to see all the letters pass by before you can even make any connections. Those letters have... It's just insane.
If I recall, the deluxe rooms are...
The guest rooms are divided up by quality grade. The deluxe room is soundproof and has excellent air insulation. The standard room may have so-so insulation, but it's still pretty decent. And the crummy room has severe airflow and draft problems.
The reason we could not hear the rumbling noise...
That's right. It was because the deluxe rooms have superior sound insulation. You actually noticed that. Nice catch, Hajime. Are you using your ultimate reserve corps student talent? Now then, you guys must understand by now, right? The true identity of Nekomaru's killer.
He likes to rub it in, doesn't he? He really likes to rub it in.
Hold on a sec. Why does that lead to who the killer is?
Why? Well, that fact just now is a very important clue, and a decisive factor in identifying the killer.
There are 4 deluxe rooms. 3 of them had people in it that did not came out. One of them actually did.
Decisive factor?
Somehow, I feel like I understand what Nagito means. The killer among us. The killer who murdered Nekomaru. Yeah, Nekomaru himself actually slept in the standard room. So the other one who slept in the deluxe room would be then the person. Fuyuhiko? Crappy. Where is he? Kazuichi? Crappy. Nekomaru? Standard. Gundham? Deluxe. The killer is Gundham.
You're the only one!
Gundham?
According
There's
to
something I
Nagito,
want to
then.
ask you. When the alarm rang at the Strawberry House Lounge, you rushed over there too, right?
What's wrong with that? If the bell of catastrophe rings throughout the night, it is the universe's providence to stop it.
Why were you able to hear it?
Hear what?
I mean, you were also staying in a deluxe room, right? Nagito was staying in a deluxe room in the same house on the same floor, and he couldn't even hear it. So why were you able to hear that alarm?
Now that you mention it...
Gundham?
There's only one possibility. You weren't in your room at the time. That's why, even though you were staying in a deluxe room, you still went to the lounge. Am I right?
Gundham, you have some sort of explanation, right?
Gundham probably couldn't return to his room because of Fuyuhiko. Me? After you saw Nekomaru heading to the tower, you stayed at the lounge for a while. Am I correct? Until the moment that alarm started ringing, right? If you were in the lounge for that long, the killer who had left earlier obviously wouldn't be able to go back.
Even though Mechamaru's murder was a death trap that utilized the alarm in his chest, the killer still needed to prepare the murder in advance.
Like putting Nekomaru in sleep mode and tying him up with the wire.
In order to do that, the killer needed to be waiting for Nekomaru at the tower. Which means when Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru, the killer was already at the tower.
And once they tried to go back, they couldn't because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge.
In their original plan, the killer should have returned to their room before the alarm in the lounge went off. And they were supposed to stay in their room. They weren't planning to come out and go to the lounge.
Which means they wouldn't have heard the alarm or the rumbling sound, thus proving they were in the room. Just like us.
The best case scenario would have been if those two in the lounge had gone to check the deluxe rooms. After all, if they personally saw the killer sleeping in their room, it gives the killer a stronger alibi. Unfortunately, they failed to secure that alibi.
Because I was in the lounge.
So the killer couldn't go back to their room, and ended up hearing the lounge's alarm.
What are you doing? This ruckus is louder than the supreme ruler of the netherworld bellowing for sacrifice. Don't making all that noise. Don't go making all that noise,
But
Usami.
why'd you come out? You should have hid till the excitement died down.
If Gundham tried to hide, and if those two went to his room to check on him, he would have been found out. That would have been the worst possible outcome. That's why he couldn't just stay hidden.
If those two had just checked the deluxe rooms as planned, that would have been ideal, but... How ironic. The moment Fuyuhiko set foot in the lounge, your plan was doomed.
Gundham? Please, can you at least say something?
Okay. I stayed quiet for this long because what they are saying is a good conclusion. However, they are forgetting that they're dealing with Gundham. Gundham can get out of this with an alibi. Why he was out of the room, or at least a valid explanation. Also a valid explanation why he would be able to hear the noise from outside the room. However, it would have been a weaker alibi. It wouldn't have been as strong. Still, it would be something that is hard to dispute. hard to deny. Is Gundham going to answer that?
Answer me this, including myself in my 4 dark devas of destruction. How many ears do we possess?
Huh?
The answer is 10. That's right, I possess 10 ears. That means I have 5 times the hearing of a normal human. The soundproof system here may as well not exist.
He's going delusional. He is really going back on his demon delusions. Demon Lord delusions of to defend himself. Wow!
Is that your argument? You
My thing
Do you
is
understand the situation you're in right now?
Do not panic. The truth shall now commence. At the time, I left my room to go to the bathroom. By coincidence, I heard the alarm. That's right. That's all it was. The world is always so simple.
Are you saying it was just a coincidence? Isn't that timing a little too perfect?
And yet, I'm being suspected by all of you. It seems it was actually horrible timing on my part.
I see. You're still holding out. Well, you don't have to admit it. We're going to decide who the killer is with the majority vote anyway. So, why don't we just go ahead and start voting? It's obvious that Gundham is the killer.
Hold on a sec.
You know, Hajime, this class trial, this killing, it's merely the opening act, you know.
Hey!
What?
What do you mean the class trial is just the opening act?
Perhaps I should say, it's just a farce. Just a boring farce. So boring, so stressful. I'm so painfully bored that I might develop stomach ulcers. Seriously. Let's just hurry up and finish this before I collapse from poor health.
Nagito, something definitely happened to you, didn't it? At some point during the investigation, your behavior became even weirder. What actually happened? Did you discover something?
Well, let's just leave that fun for later. And finish this opening act already.
You said opening act again!
Please hold on! We have yet to hear Gundam's rebuttal!
Okay, then let's hear what Gundham has to say as a rebuttal. He has options, you know. It is Gundham we are talking about, after all. His ultimate talent can't save him in this time. Question is, does he want to?
But he's completely shut up. Perhaps he can't argue anymore.
Condescending.
I was simply at a loss for words after being dumbfounded by your pathetic assumption. In fact, I shall deny the very basis. Your assumption has been wrong since the beginning.
Since the beginning?
Based on your assumption, I hung Nekomaru from the 4th floor of the tower and made the floor descend to the 1st floor. From there, after returning to Strawberry House, I was present when the alarm at the lounge went off, correct?
Oh no, we're going into this, aren't we? Yeah, we got him cornered, so we're going into this. Oh, I hate this part.
Although going to and fro is busy enough as it is, how would I be able to travel between both houses anyway?
I see. The contact elevator was broken.
As I recall, the killer tampered with the Grape House control panel, which shut down the elevator. Plus, the stopped elevator should have been facing the Grape House side. If so, The human who used the elevator would have left it at Grape House. For these reasons, it's an indisputable fact that the killer destroyed the elevator at Grape House.
And what's wrong with that?
If the elevator was broken at Grape House, you wouldn't be able to return to Strawberry House.
Yes, you can.
However, I was already at Strawberry House. I was present when the alarm in the lounge started ringing. Which means your assumption is clearly wrong.
It's valid. He has a point. However, it's also easily broken by what Nagito said he did. And has done.
Are you serious? And here I thought it's already been decided.
Have you learned your lesson, pitiful humans? You cannot overcome this contradiction.
That's wrong. When something is obviously wrong, that's when a contradiction is born. There's no such thing as a contradiction that can't be overcome. Okay, clock, contact elevator. I don't think any of these are... Oh yeah, I think I have to find my bullet here.
That elevator was the only means of travel between the two houses.
That's wrong.
As long as that elevator was broken, your assumption collapses.
Plus, the elevator was broken at Grape House.
If the killer cannot return to Strawberry House...
Since I was at Strawberry House at that time, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
Or if there was a secret passageway.
How much longer do you plan to lecture me?
That's the one.
Why don't we stop this already?
Now I need to use it. A contradiction is when something is obviously wrong. There's no contradiction I can't shoot through. I'm going to find out what that is for the sake of everyone's hope. I'll shoot through the contradiction.
That elevator was the only means of travel between the two.
No, that's wrong!
No, it wasn't.
No, there should have been another way to move between the two houses without the elevator.
Such a method does not exist!
Then why don't we ask the person who actually used that method?
Nagito? So, Nagito, how did you end up in Grape House when Kazuichi was still fixing the elevator at Strawberry House?
You're the only one!
Nagito, you should know.
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. You appeared so suddenly that one time because you used that method, right?
Nagito, why are you here? Because I showed up.
There's a secret passage connecting the first floor of Strawberry House to the third floor of Grape House. Isn't that right?
Jeez. Once again, I let the reserve course show off. But you're right. There's a door on the floor of the Octagon, which is on the first floor of Strawberry House.
And that door leads to?
After I opened the door and went down... Surprise, surprise! I ended up in the Monokuma archive, which is on the third floor of Grape House.
Meaning, the third floor and the fourth floor are actually connected.
Yes,
Plus, once you've cleared the final dead room once, you can pass through it as many times as you want.
If they used that secret passage, they could have gone between the two houses as much as they wanted.
Infinity Unlimited Flame!
Oh brother, what is he now all about?
However, what if the killer was unaware of the existence of the final dead room?
Everyone was aware of that room.
They didn't know.
That is merely an illusion you have fabricated from your own suspicion.
The final dead room is plastered on the door or above the wall of that door on Strawberry Hall's first floor. It's the one thing you see, the first thing you see when you come out of the elevator. And it's so creepy, it's hard to not notice it.
If you value your life, you should stop with your scrutiny.
There's no way I can stop.
Kid, you say? Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Why not? Rebuttal showdown. Wire, goodnight, but okay.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
Ah man. His argument is exhausting. Just listening to it makes me tired. I need to skillfully cut back against his words so he doesn't outpace me. Yeah, but his words are turning.
You could travel through multiple planes, provided
It's
you
hard
use
to
a
hit
spacious
them.
wormhole. However,
And
how
you can't even
frail I
control
say.
where.
Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
God darn it! That's okay. This is where what kind of pisses me off at the moment.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say. Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
Finally an
the secret
advantage.
passage exists. The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon. Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion, at least pray to the key which dwells in the light!
What? Try providing the evidence that the killer went to the Octagon, right? Okay. In that case, I should have it too. Key which dwells in the light that will break through the darkness.
You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of...
Allow me to cut through those words!
The wire, it came from the Octagon, but I just didn't know what to use it on.
The wire used to string
Because
up
he's
Nekomaru's
delusional.
body. The hammer that looked like the weapon, and the chain on the door in the tower. Those are all the items that weren't in Funhouse. Where did the killer obtain them?
The only place I can think of is the Octagon. There were various weapons and tools there. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff like wires, hammers, and chains too.
Since those items were used in the crime, there's no doubt that the killer went to the Octagon.
If that's the case, they obviously know about the secret passage too, right?
It seems this is the end. Normally we'd end up listening to Hajime lecture us with a very long summary of the case. But there's no reason to waste any more time on this opening act, so I'm going to end this right now.
Hey, what are you...
First of all, by messing with all the clocks in the building, Gundham tried to lure only Nekomaru. The elevator was probably broken by that point. Thanks to that, Nekomaru wasn't able to go to Grape Tower, which was supposed to be the meetup point. So he tried going over to Strawberry Tower, just like we did when we found out the elevator was broken. Well, it's obvious he'd attempt that. At that time, we didn't know the two towers were the exact same place. Also, the button in Strawberry Hall wasn't broken, so he was easily able to enter Strawberry Tower. But surprise! Gundham was waiting for Nekomaru's arrival.
Hold on. If Nekomaru didn't go to Strawberry Tower, what would the killer have done then?
Their plan was a balancing act of uncertainties. But even if they failed, they probably wouldn't have minded.
Oh, I wish this was the end. I wish, because then that what comes next, I don't have to do that. So yeah, let's end it here.
They can just greet everyone the next morning as if nothing happened, and come up with a different plan.
And without such a risky plan, they wouldn't have been able to lure him at all.
I'm going to continue summarizing the case, okay? Through this, Gundham successfully lured Nekomaru to Strawberry Tower. There's no way he could fight head-on with the robotic Nekomaru, so by pressing the goodnight button, he rendered Nekomaru powerless without fighting him.
Hold on! You... What did you just say? That I didn't battle?
Okay, why did he go angry all of a sudden? Why did he so... And also... Nagito? Oh yeah, Nagito was it? You mentioned something that we didn't discuss at all. How did he press the goodnight button? Well, it's obvious how he could do that, but it's not something that we've discussed. How he managed to do it.
What's wrong with that?
Don't mess with me! Don't mess with me! I cannot ignore those words!
Why are you angry all of a sudden?
You fools do not understand! You don't understand at all! Ha! You make me laugh! After all this time, you still don't understand anything at all!
I don't understand anything. What does that mean?
It appears I cannot finish just yet. Maybe I'm just a human destined for hell. However, I cannot finish just yet. I cannot finish!
What do you intend to do?
It's obvious! I'm going to destroy your illusory assumptions!
Are you saying you still have more? You still have room to argue?
Your words. You said I pressed Nekomaru's goodnight button. However, that button was on the back of Nekomaru's neck. To press it, I'd have to get behind him.
It's not easy to get the drop on Coach Nekomaru.
It's even more difficult if it's a one-on-one situation.
Just as I thought, truly frail. Succumbing so easily to this simple argument, it was just a mere illusion. If you want to set me up as the killer, at least surpass your own human limitations.
That's wrong, then. You're the one who's wrong.
Such a wonderful line. However, I cannot say that I'm satisfied. Listen well. I shall teach you 2 tips for making someone admit their defeat. First, you must crush them with your own overwhelming power. And as for the other, you must provide a reason that will persuade that human.
I don't like where it's going.
Have not fulfilled either of those yet.
I'm not looking forward to this. I guess you really don't want. Then, just as you requested, no, I will provide an argument that will leave you no choice but to be persuaded. No, great.
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied!
Okay, wait. X, log on, attack, select, final strike. Final strike is circle. Reload is square, final strike.
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied! Show me the cadaver!
I think this gives me unlimited, and I can just press the cross button as much as I want to.
For the Tanaka Empire!
I have at least a little bit more.
Empire! I won't let you!
Yeah, I don't care. I just need the unlimited bullets and
It's Nekomaru's back. Do you really
the
think I can
4
defeat
Dark
this?
Devas.
This is the end!
Whew.
Even if you didn't get behind Nekomaru, you should have been able to press the button on the back of his neck. As long as you have the power of the hamsters you keep with you!
Are you seriously saying he used his hamsters to press the button on the back of Nekomaru's neck?